people say to me, why would they do it? Well, I say to them, why does a psychopath do what they do?
Wow, I never thought of it like that.
Why does the psychopath serial kill? Yeah. Well, because he's a freaking psychopath. That's why he does it.
Elon Musk is not who you think he is. And in today's video, David Icke is going to be completely exposing that fact. But also, he's going to be exposing the fact that nothing is exactly how it seems when it comes to the government, when it comes to the military, when it comes to the police force. Virtually everything. The people who you think you are serving are not actually the puppet master pulling the strings. And, well, while that might sound very conspiratorial, once you really see it broken down, it starts to make a lot more sense. And David Icke does a phenomenal job of doing that. And that's why I made today's video, because there are people who are posing as your friend who in reality want nothing more than to control every single aspect of your life. And David Icke does the best job I have ever seen of exposing that to everybody. So that sounds interesting to you. I need you to hit that like button so everyone sees this video, and let's get right into it.
If you look through human history, not least because of what we've been talking about, the continuation of the same basic process through history. I mean, it's changed in its emphasis and it's changed in its way of selling it, but it's been basically the same process. The many, no matter what culture it is, it doesn't matter what religion it is, it doesn't matter what era it is, the many give their power to the few, who, as a result, impose their will on the few, or on the many. That's happened all the way through human history, and all that's happened in the COVID era is it's become more obvious as things have got more and more extreme. But that's been the process all along. There's no way that Genghis Khan or Joseph Stalin or any of these people could have done what they did without the acquiescence of the people. No way Hitler and the Nazis could have done it without the acquiescence of the people. Acquiescence in two ways. One, supporting them because they bought the lie. And two, intimidation into obedience because they fear the consequences of not being obedient. If you look at the population of China today, I mean, it's unbelievable, massive.
Yeah, it's huge.
If that said no in any kind of unison to these prats in the government, in the communist government, we'd see actually all along has had no power.
Yeah.
Because you can send your military out, okay, but hold on a minute. Have you seen the military compared with the population?
It's not even close.
No way. So what they do is they divide and rule the population. They intimidate the population because they have to divide and rule.
Divide and conquer.
Otherwise, any form of unity, and it's over.
Yeah. Wow.
This is why you've got BLM, funded by the billionaires, funded by the cult.
And it's brilliant because on the surface, it's a beautiful message. You know, historically, Black people in the U.S. have felt disconnected and disrepresented, and then they say, well, Black Lives Matter. You get everyone to agree with.
Yeah, it's easy to agree with that. Like, of course,
because of course, yeah, exactly. But
that's the psychological trick.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a psychological war.
It's all psychological. It's all psychological.
And then George Soros runs it.
Yeah, exactly. When there's billions of people and you're a few, until you get AI connected to them and they become a hive mind,
oh God,
you have got to manipulate their perception, and you've got to divide and rule them, so they're fighting among themselves, and they're therefore not aware of you.
Fighting you,
because you cannot physically control 8 billion people. You can't physically control 330 million plus all those we don't know about in America, because there's not enough of you. So you have to control their perception, which dictates their behavior to suit your agenda.
Populate them.
Yeah, that's another way of doing it. So they have created Black Lives Matter. Use this phrase that no one can argue with, Black Lives Matter. But you know it's a scam. You know the goal it claims to have is not true. When all lives matter becomes a racist statement.
Yeah,
you know it's a scam then.
Yeah.
And so all this money's been put in to create racial division. And if you look at the black on black crime in America not least through gangs like in Chicago, and you look at all the things that have happened in terms of black people and black communities. Well, BLM is not really addressing those in any way, shape, or form. It's not what's best for black people at all. It's how do we use black people in this divide and rule agenda.
And so this divide and conquer technique that David Icke is talking about here, and these types of political organizations that are founded by people like Soros are something that we definitely need to look out for. This is essentially mental warfare, because there's one thing that a lot of these elitists understand. They know that if they can divide us and they can get us fighting against one another and focusing on things that don't matter, like race or skin color or your political or your religious beliefs, then they can continue taking advantage of us. And this is a large part as to what all these tech billionaires are doing. Whether that be Bill Gates, whether that be Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk, they all engage in this type of behavior. And one thing you will most definitely notice is people are starting to get a lot more political when it comes to these tech billionaires. I mean, Bill Gates is just outright, advocating for the Democrats. Elon Musk is now full on Republican, and Mark Zuckerberg has now officially went from Democrat to Republican. But before, this was something that you would have never seen. But all these people have decided that they want to be front-facing figures who are essentially manipulating your minds through their social media algorithms. And it basically just shows that these guys, they really want to control certain aspects of your life, and they want you to vote for the government that's going to be in their best interest, because they are essentially funding that government. It is just a massive mess around. Like, it's just absolutely insane that this is the reality that we live in. And I looked at the Black Lives Matter organizers and movement, and yes, it is indeed funded by Soros. Hundreds of millions of dollars, by the way, by Soros went into that organization. But then the person that was appointed by Soros, which was a black female, ended up buying multiple luxury mansions with funds that were siphoned directly from this organization to her. And if that doesn't prove to you that these types of organizations are there for the wrong reasons, I frankly don't know what to tell you. But what's even more concerning is what these tech billionaires are doing in order to essentially socially engineer our minds. They are using social media algorithms to show us specific narratives and pieces of information which are specifically put there to enrage us and get us thinking and talking about things that frankly are really extreme and aren't actually representative of the real world in any way. And then we go online and we fight amongst each other and we create this division, and then we feel all alone. Social media, the thing that was supposed to be bringing us all together, has now been hijacked and is something that is dividing us as a nation. And that's why I'm so passionate about this. And that is why I am making today's video, because as much as I hate to say it, X or Twitter, Facebook or Instagram, all of these social media platforms are not doing a good job of giving us what it is built to do, which is connection. It's doing the opposite. And so now we're going to get into specifically what Elon Musk is doing and why it is so dangerous for civilization, because this completely shocked me. I know it's going to shock you guys too.
We have this plan for electric cars, and what happens, and it's been justified, not justified, but apparently justified by this human-caused climate change hoax, which has demonized the gas of life with the carbon dioxide, without which we'd all be dead. And suddenly, what you're seeing now is not just Tesla and Elon Musk, this cult frontman. It's Ford and it's all these other car companies are bringing out electric cars at the same point, and they're talking about by 2040 there'll be no cars made that aren't electric. So and then you've got the laws against petrol cars and diesel cars, and of course what we're seeing is a transition in terms of fuel from petrol and diesel access to the electrical access in filling stations, gas stations. And as this moves on, if you've got a petrol car, you're going to find it more and more difficult to find a place to get fuel. We've at the moment had this in Britain, this fuel crisis, all manufactured, where people have not been able to get fuel.
Yikes.
With various things the government has done, but now hides from. And so people have been lining up, for hours sometimes to try and get fuel from a gas station. And the government's come out and said, which created it, and said, this just shows it's a good lesson that we have to get rid of fossil fuels and go to electric cars. So the whole thing is coordinated, and it's being generated, being promoted, this whole climate hoax by people in the woke mentality who are utterly clueless about the world and the forces directing the world, to the point where they are demanding changes in society justified by what they claim are environmental requirements, needs. And they also perceive themselves to be anti-system and fighting the system to get justice for the planet, when what they're demanding is everything that this cult wants. This is why you got Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum and Bill Gates, who've been pushing the COVID hoax. At the same time, they have produced books saying we need to use the COVID hoax, in my words, to change the world, to save the planet.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Those documents are very easily available.
So this is the whole point, that the COVID hoax and the climate hoax are actually different,
so crazy.
Masks again on the same face, which is why the same characters are pushing both. Because if you look at the solutions to these apparent claimed problems, they're all the same. They're centralization of power and control of the fine detail of people's lives. Because so now they're more and more talking about the fact that we need climate lockdowns.
Yeah.
Right? So they're fundamentally connected.
Wow, I gotta say that David Icke really breaks this down well, but one thing I really need to dive deeper on for all of you guys is electric cars and what they're capable of doing that petroleum-based cars aren't. In a large way, electric vehicles have the potential to take away a lot of our freedoms as well. In fact, an electric vehicle is something that can be remotely controlled by a hacker or even the organization or government which it was issued by. For example, we already know that Tesla have self-driving features. It has the ability to lock its own doors, all from a phone. So what is stopping Tesla employees or Elon Musk or the government from getting access to all of these features and using it against you in the event that you are not compliant to whatever agenda they have? For example, you decide to have a child when they have a zero-child policy. Well, guess what? Now they're going to lock you in your own car and drive you down and literally arrest you without ever even having to lay a finger on you. That is a type of reality that we can live in. And while it might seem far-fetched right now, when you look at all of these technologies and what they are already doing to people today, I think it should become abundantly clear that this is something that we should not trust. I mean, just look at, like I was saying, at how social media platforms are being used to, change our thoughts, quite literally mind control us from a distance, just using algorithms that have certain keywords or certain things that, humans will care about or humans will get angry about, so that our thought process changes on, what we believe in. It's absolutely insane how politics and social media and how now technology is all being weaponized against us. And it's really time for us to start taking notice to this and essentially preparing for, I think, what the future does hold. Now, the future is not all doom and gloom. I do think that all of us, we can work together to find a future that is best. And I think over the course of human history, we have always found solutions as humans, and we've always established a new government until that government gets so corrupt that we have to do something about it. I just think that we are closely approaching that point in time where we're going to have to do something about it. And that's why I'm so passionate about everything that we're talking about in today's video. But if you want to be part of a community that is built towards educating you, making sure that you have the right resources, and also helping you make money, please join into my Discord community. You'll probably see it up there, and you can be part of that. And I'll be so happy to have all of you guys in there talking and just conversing every single day. It's called Crypto Crusaders because that's what we are. We believe in cryptocurrency as opposed to, you know, all of these more centralized projects that are being put out here in the world that are controlled and monitored. Cryptocurrency, of course, decentralized, and that's why I do like it so much. But anyways, with all that being said, please smash that like button and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace out.